Hey, guess what's happening on this week's episode of the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with your friend and host, Oscar Camejo.
In this episode of the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast, we'll be discussing the importance of weight loss for diabetics and how losing weight can help reverse and even prevent type 2 diabetes in many cases. We will explore the benefits of losing weight, both immediate and long lasting, because guess what? We want lasting results, obviously. And we're also going to provide practical tips on setting goals and creating a personalized weight loss plan. Listen, folks, losing weight, especially excess weight, is one of the key ways to treat prediabetes and potentially reversing type 2 diabetes. I was able to do it. You can too. So join me as I delve into these topics and provide you with insights to help you overcome your struggles and achieve your health goals. We don't wait for success, folks. We prepare for it. Today's episode is all about developing a personalized plan for losing weight to beat diabetes. So stick around to hear the rest of today's episode. You don't want to miss it. Let's go. Be sure to visit the website at www.beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com for access to free resources and other information that will help you along your journey. If you would like to submit a question or a comment about the show or to learn more about the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle, you can always email me at hello@beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Welcome to this week's episode of the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with me, your host, Oscar Camejo, helping diabetics make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. Folks, we're almost at 100 episodes. That's right. A few more episodes and the big 100 will be here. So again, shout out to all of my listeners and followers from all over the world, wherever you are. Big shout out to you, whether you're in Europe, Asia, South America, or even here in the US. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, today, let's dive into this week's episode, developing a personalized plan for losing weight to beat diabetes. Folks, I've been where a lot of you are today, struggling to lose weight, struggling to manage the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. Maybe you have prediabetes and you're like, okay, I don't want this to get worse because I heard that prediabetes can eventually develop into full-blown type 2 diabetes in some situations. So you want to put some things in place, including losing weight. Folks, I wish when I was first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes that I had actually rewound the tape and listened to the doctor's orders when I was diagnosed with prediabetes. And man, I just really wish that the things that I had listened to or heard, I would have actually followed the advice. And unfortunately, I didn't. And because I didn't follow the advice of my doctor and the nurse practitioner at the time, yes, I developed type 2 diabetes eventually. But you know what? Even though I developed type 2 diabetes later on, about a year and a half or so later, I was able to still lose over 80 pounds, folks, and keep the weight off. Not only that, I was able to get off type 2 diabetes medication, high blood pressure medication, high cholesterol medication, and so forth. You know, I remember starting my journey, not knowing where to start, and I wish I had something to really help guide me. And it was a lot of information out there, a lot of things on YouTube, on the internet, all over the place. And a lot of the stuff was just confusing. But what I needed was something that can help me to lay a foundation. And so I decided that, you know what, I'm going to learn as much as I can. I'm going to move forward with whatever I can, whether it's, you know, changing the way I eat, exercising and so forth. I am going to start somewhere. And I think that's where a lot of us need to do, or that's what a lot of us need to do. We just simply need to start. But there's nothing like having something that's practical, that's doable, that's achievable to help us to reach our goals. So, folks, this episode is based on a weight loss planner that I recently created and recently released to my podcast listeners. You see, I believe that without a plan, we plan to fail, right? And so I wish I had a resource like this. And this weight loss planner that I created, it's free for you to download. Matter of fact, you can either get a link to it in the show notes or go to my website at beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. And you'll see a section in there where you can actually download it for free. It is yours to keep. Tell other people about it, have them to sign up. And I promise you, you are going to benefit from it. But like anything, guys, whether it's free or it's paid, you invest in it, you're only going to get results if you remain consistent with it. And I want you to remain consistent. So with this weight loss planner, I made it so practical, so easy for you to follow. All you have to do is go from point A to point B, and you're going to start seeing results. Because again, remember, it's all about laying a foundation. You see, folks, when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in August 2020, yes, I was given a sheet of paper from my doctor that says, take this medication at this time. Do this, be mindful not to overtake your medicine, be mindful not to undertake your medicine. I remember being told to start eating healthy, but, I wasn't given much of a plan, if you will. There was another sheet of paper that said, hey, try the Mediterranean diet. And it had some examples. So that was like a foundation, right? But it was up to me to put into practice the things that I was learning. So this episode is all about the weight loss planner and how you can implement the steps and the practical tools that I've provided for you. The weight loss planner is a powerful tool that you can use to help you to stay focused, help you to remain motivated on your weight loss journey. Listen, folks, I'm all about helping people and I want you to stay focused. I want you to keep moving. I want you to never go back to the old lifestyle that got you to where you are. I want you to remain motivated on your weight loss journey. So by putting a plan in place and tracking your own personal progress, trust me, you'll be able to see the positive changes that you're making. It doesn't matter if it's little changes. It doesn't matter if it's small achievements. You're making progress. So you want to be able to track that. You want to be able to see the evidence of you moving forward. Because I think a lot of times we want to see big results. We want to see them so fast that we just overlook the fact that we are making progress. So what? You've only lost 2 pounds so far. You've lost 2 pounds, right? You're 2 pounds lighter. So keep stacking those wins. Okay, folks. So let's start by understanding how to use this personalized planner. And so, folks, listen, it's going to make sense once you listen to this podcast and then you follow the weight loss planner. It's going to make so much sense. Trust me. So the weight loss planner opens up with a start date, a planned duration, and an end date. It's so important that when you start a plan that you have a start, you start tracking, okay, how long is this going to take or roughly? And what is my end date? What is my end goal? You may not have an end goal, right? A specific end goal date, but have something that you can project to say, okay, well, by the end of 2024 or July 2024 or whatever your time frame is, look at it and say, okay, I want to achieve XYZ by this date. So you also be able to track your starting weight, your goal weight, and your final waist size. It's very, very important, folks, to have a starting point. I know some of you all may not like to get on the scale, but trust me, tracking it and knowing where you are is going to be very important. Folks, I can tell you exactly what I weighed because I've been tracking it. You see, I can tell you where I was when I reached the plateau because I was tracking it. I can tell you what my weight is today, obviously, and how much weight I've lost over that time because I've been tracking it. And I've been able to help so many people have a visual representation. And by giving them a visual representation, that is, in order for them to see the progress. And you'll see, man, yeah, there's been little progress. There's been big progress. There's been times where I plateaued, Listen, you may experience the same thing, but trust me, start tracking your weight. Now let's talk about the benefits of losing weight, because you're like, okay, Oscar, what's the big deal? Why can't I just take these medications? I heard that there's this new pill that's going to help me to lose weight. I need to fast track and get this weight off me as quick as possible. Or why can't I just go and do gastric bypass surgery to get this weight off of me? Why can't I just go on this extreme diet and just really just shave off the pounds quickly? Listen, folks, weight loss is very nuanced, is very personal. I'm not going to tell you not to take certain medications because I'm not a physician. I'm also not going to tell you to take certain medications because I am not a physician. I am telling you and sharing with you the practical, natural things that I did to lose weight, to reverse type 2 diabetes, to come off medication. Listen, folks, I still go to my doctor's appointments as regularly scheduled. I check my blood sugar levels. I check my weight. I check my cholesterol. I check all of that. And I keep getting A plus, if you will, as my doctor says, every time that I go, because it's doable, folks. I'm not somebody who did something magical. What I'm sharing with you through this weight loss planner and the things that I share on this podcast, and even when I write for WebMD and, blogs and so forth, whatever I put out on social media, whatever I put out on my website, folks, it's all about practicality. So losing weight can have both immediate and lasting advantages. So let's talk about the benefits of losing weight. Now, take a moment to consider 3 individual motivations for losing weight. So I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of losing weight. Yes. But while I'm talking about that, I want you to think about your personal motivations for losing weight. Now, here are the benefits of losing weight. Obviously, the more weight you have on your body, you're probably feeling sluggish. You're probably dealing with some inflammation in your knees like I was. You're probably dealing with some chest pains every now and then because you're carrying a lot of excess weight going up and down the steps, even walking from your car to the grocery store and walking through the grocery store. Sometimes you feel winded. You want to get out and walk, but everything just seems to ache. And I'm telling you, folks, as I started dropping the weight, my body physically started feeling better. I was able to move more. I was able to move faster, not talking about going out and sprinting and doing, backflips and anything of that nature, but I was able to move better, talking about having better flexibility over time. I mean, it took some time, but it started with losing weight. Now, that's just the physical aspect. But also, the more I lost fat on my body, the more my health started to improve. I mean, you're talking about my cholesterol numbers started going down as I was losing weight. My blood pressure, believe it or not, started going down as I was losing weight. And my need for medication, folks, literally started changing the more and more I started losing weight. And now I'm not talking about I got off medications cold turkey. I was able to slowly be weaned off of medication over time as I started losing weight. And my doctor kept telling me, hey, man, I like your progress. You're losing weight and it's benefiting you. I'm seeing your numbers are going down. You're eating healthy. You're being more active. Keep that up, So again, there's so many benefits to losing weight. There's the physical benefits, obviously, feeling better. I was able to start sleeping better at night. I'm telling you, no more restless nights, no more waking up in the middle of the night, having to go to the bathroom because my blood sugar levels were high, and no more snoring loudly and dealing with sleep apnea and all of that stuff. The more and more I started losing weight, man, I'm telling you. So now there's so many things I can go into regarding the benefits of losing weight. There's a difference between subcutaneous fat and visceral fat. So subcutaneous fat is that fat that when we pinch our gut, our stomach, or let's say the back of our legs or the back of our arms, we feel that fat. That's that subcutaneous or under the skin fat, right? That's the fat that we feel and we're like, man, I need to shave this off. And then there's the visceral fat. The visceral fat is the fat that accumulates in and around certain organs in your body. And that's the actual fat that you start noticing, especially around the waist, gentlemen and ladies, where it's like, man, my waist circumference is getting bigger. I remember when my waist was about 46 inches or 44 inches, that was huge. I'm down to about like 30 inches now. And that's because I was able to lose that visceral fat. And that is considered the more dangerous fat, because people who have type 2 diabetes often develop what's called fatty liver disease. It was some people, not everybody. You have some people who have fatty pancreas, and then the pancreas and the liver, they're all working overtime because it's trying to navigate its normal functions, dealing with processing food, dealing with processing glucose and so forth, and helping the body to be regulated while at the same time dealing with all of this extra fat. And the fat deposits, folks, are not good for our bodies. So we need to keep that in mind. So back to the motivations for losing weight. Now, take time to consider those 3 individual motivations for weight loss that I mentioned earlier. What is your motivation? What is motivation 1? What is motivation 2? What is motivation 3? For example, it can be anything from aiming to lower your blood sugar levels, to striving to be a more positive influence to your family when it comes to health. Maybe you have family members who are overweight, who are dealing with type 2 diabetes as well. And you're like, you know what? I want to be a motivation for them to lose weight, to get off medication, and to live. I know some folks who've had legs amputated because of type 2 diabetes. I know some people who lost their lives. So you may be like, hey, you know what? My motivation is, hey, I don't want to see another family member to lose their life, or I don't want to see another family member to lose any limbs or whatnot. So that's my motivation. Your motivation could be, hey, you know what? I want to be around for my kids. I want to live long so that they can see that, hey, mom, dad has made these changes for them, So go ahead and start thinking about your 3 motivations. You may have more than 3, but you get the point, at least 3. And the weight loss planner is going to help you to track and write down what those motivations are. Okay. Now, another part of the weight loss planner breakdown is there's a section where you can actually write down your SMART goals. That's SMART, SMART goals. And many of you all may have heard of creating SMART goals before. But here's the thing. Once you've identified your motivations for losing weight, it's time to set a SMART future goal. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. For example, you may set a goal to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months, to reduce your A1C levels. And you want to fit into a new outfit for a special event. Those are some things that are specific and they're measurable. You can measure losing 20 pounds in 6 months. See, it's realistic, it's achievable, it's timely. So again, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So the weight loss planner will help you to write down your SMART goal, right? You may have more than one, but just keep that in mind. Now that you have your long-term goal in mind, it's important to break down that long-term goal into manageable steps. These steps should be specific and achievable. Keep that in mind. Specific and achievable. Let me give you some examples to get you started. One step could be to write down a plan for eating healthy dinners for the rest of the week through Sunday. Another step could be to limit eating out to once a week. That's achievable. That's doable. You can have a goal of starting to use a wearable device like a fitness tracker. It could be a watch. It can be some other trackable device that you keep with you to track your steps so you can aim for over 10,000 steps a day. That's doable. Many of you already have a wearable You need to pull it out wherever it is in the car, and it may not be charged. It may be in your desk drawer somewhere. Pull it out. Pull out that old gym bag and get to work. Now, that's all a part of getting started and laying a foundation. So again, think about your long-term goal, break it down into manageable steps. It's doable, it's achievable. Keep that in mind. Now, there's another section in the weight loss planner that helps you to identify your bad habits and also good habits that you want to now develop to replace those bad habits. You see, breaking down bad habits and building new ones is a key part of your weight loss journey. It's important to stay committed and motivated, but we have to be honest. We have to be upfront about what our bad habits are. For example, if you have a bad habit of going to the drive-thru and getting some fast food on your way to work or coming from work, and you know you're getting unhealthy food, hey, you need to write that down. And now you need to develop or write down what is a good habit that you want to start developing. That good habit could be making a smoothie instead of going through the drive-thru first thing in the morning, instead of picking up a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant like I did every morning. It's like, hey, every morning I'm going to make a smoothie, a fresh, green, healthy smoothie that's going to help me to eat less calories, have less sugar, have less carbs, and so forth. So keep that in mind. Breaking bad habits are important, but what's more important is developing new habits. And you know, something that I found, the more positive and good habits that I would track and develop, the less bad habits I would keep up with. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. Sometimes when we look at the scale, if you will, like the old school scales, and you want to achieve a balance, but sometimes I believe doing more good will outweigh the bad. And eventually you get to the point where it's like, you know what? No, I don't need to be eating popcorn every night before I go to bed. I don't need to be eating popcorn while I'm watching television. You know what? Let me drink some water instead. Let me get some healthier snacks instead. You know, there's little things that you can do to break those bad habits, but it takes time. It takes a commitment. It takes focus. So keep that in mind. Another section of the weight loss planner, which is very, very important, and I think is probably one of the things that can really help you along your journey. And that is the checklist. There's a checklist of basic things, that maybe you've never thought of, or maybe it was in the back of your mind, but you've never really put it into practice. So to help you to stay on track, I've created a personalized checklist for you. You can add to it. You can check off some things that maybe you're already doing, but you just have to do it more consistently. You know, I've broken down the checklist into different sections to help you to stay focused. For example, there's a section on actions related to education, learning about nutrition, learning about fitness, learning about type 2 diabetes, and so forth. There's a section for fitness and actions that you need to start taking regarding fitness, whether it's going out for a walk on a daily basis at a specific time, whether it's packing a gym bag every day, and so forth. There is another section, which is one of my favorite, and it's nutrition and action that you need to take regarding nutrition. So again, this is all broken down into bite-sized checklist actions that you can follow. You can say, okay, I need to focus on my nutrition. I need to focus on my fitness. I need to educate myself and become more knowledgeable. There's literally something for every key area of your weight loss plan. Again, educating yourself, focusing on fitness, focusing on nutrition. And there's some other actions. You can write in your own actions, your own checklist of things that you know you need to take care of. Folks, let's be honest. If you don't have a pair of nice, not expensive, but nice workout shoes for you to either wear when you go to the gym or when you go walking, but you still are holding on to those old gym sneakers that are torn up Folks, make that a part of your checklist that, you know what, I'm going to I'm going to get some better shoes to protect my feet that are good. Doesn't have to be expensive, but that's going to help you out. That falls under your fitness action. Check that off your list. You may say, okay, well, Oscar, I need some help with eating. I don't know what to eat. Earlier I mentioned about making a healthy smoothie. That's on there under nutrition. As far as a checklist, literally, folks, it's this checklist and this weight loss planner has so many benefits for you, has so many things that you can just easily follow. I don't believe in complications. I don't believe in making things so difficult. So check that out. Okay. Here's some examples from the checklist that I've kind of mentioned already, but I want to drill down a little bit more and give you some more practical things. In the checklist, it talks about researching the benefits of carbohydrates, proteins, and fat. Folks, I'm telling you, once I learned the truth about carbs and that carbs are not the enemy, it's a type of carbs, that made a huge difference in my understanding. When I started learning about proteins and how proteins are the building blocks of strength in our muscles, I'm like, oh, so that's why it's important to get protein. And I don't mean just eating a protein bar and I'm good to go. It doesn't mean, oh, I just need to just get a protein supplement and I'm good to go. Here's another thing that you want to learn and be educated about is fats. Are fats really that bad? If I buy, let's say a steak and it has a little bit of fat on it, is that fat really bad? Is that the fat that's causing me to gain weight? There's so many things to learn, folks, and to research that it will blow your mind. Another thing in the checklist, it tells you to go ahead and get your body measurements done. Like I mentioned earlier about tracking your weight, seeing where you are, going to the gym and having a professional to help you to learn where you are right now and kind of go periodically. You can go once a month and get your body measurements done, or you can go every 3 months. The goal is to track and document your progress. Another set of examples are eating 5 servings of fresh veggies a day, including 5 servings of fresh fruits every day. Folks, I give you so much information in this. So if you aren't convinced right now that this weight loss planner is for you and is something that's going to help you, then I don't know what is. But trust me, folks, you're going to enjoy it. So if you want to get in the gym and you want to know, okay, where do I start? How do I get started? Hey, this weight loss planner is going to help you out. You're going to learn about the benefits of strength building exercises. Like, man, why do I have to build strength if I'm trying to lose weight? I'm not trying to be muscle bound. I'm not trying to be like Hercules or, I don't know, some bodybuilder. Well, you don't have to be. I'm not a bodybuilder, but I was able to lose weight, increase my strength, increase my stability, increase my cardio, increase my endurance. Folks, trust me, there's so many things that you can learn about health that will help you to lay a strong and solid foundation. Remember, it's all about taking small steps. That's very important. It's all about celebrating your progress along the way, no matter how small. And even the big victories, of course, you want to celebrate those. Your transformation is doable. You have the power to turn your health around, folks. Trust me, I'm telling you. I hope you found this information very helpful. This weight loss planner that I've been talking about will help you to set your goals. It's going to help you to track your progress. It's going to help you to lay a foundation. And trust me, folks, you're going to look back and say, man, I am so glad I had a starting point. Because, I know what it's like. You're going to the gym and you don't know what to do. You buy a cookbook, but you're like, okay, there's a million recipes in here. I don't know where to start. I got this medication, and am I supposed to take my medication before or after I work out? And it's so confusing. You're like, oh man, there's so many things going on. And you're like, gosh, what do I need to do? Well, you know what? Breathe, slow down, and just think about where you want to be. Like me, I had to take time to decide what was the rest of my life going to look like? Was I going to remain overweight? Was I going to remain obese? Or was I going to do something about it? Folks, when I was in the hospital and when I first learned in the hospital that I had developed type 2 diabetes, I had 4 to 5 days in the hospital to really decide what the rest of my life was going to be like. I chose to be healthy. I chose to live. I chose to trust God. I chose to be there for my kids. And I didn't have a weight loss planner. All I had was the motivation to get out of that hospital alive. My motivation was to be there for my family. My motivation, looking back, was, you know what? Yeah, Oscar, there's so much for you to accomplish and that you have not yet accomplished. So, folks, I was 46, 47 at the time. I'm 51 now, just celebrated my 51st birthday at the time of this recording. And the week before, I ran a half marathon for the first time. And then a week later, on my birthday, I ran what's called an ultra marathon, a 50K or 50 kilometer, which is the equivalent of 31 miles. And it was a trail run. And basically a trail run, you're running off road, right? It's not like you're running on the streets, like you're doing a road run. No, you're in the woods. You're in, the jungles of Georgia. But yeah, I was able to accomplish that nonstop, and I was able to do so well. So your goal may not be to run an ultra, but when I was first setting out on my journey, I was not thinking about running races at all. I didn't lose the weight so I can run a race. I didn't lose the weight and come off diabetes medication and reverse it so that I can do ultra marathons. No, that stuff was not even on my radar. But the more and more I became healthier, the more fit I became, the more lean I became, going from a 44-inch or 46-inch waistline to now a 30, and I'm probably down to a 29, to be honest. I tried on one of my son's old belts the other day, and I think it was like a 30-inch. And there's still like a couple of loops that I can pull it even tighter, folks. I'm telling you, the transformation is real. I'm not some anomaly. I'm simply a guy who, when he was 268 pounds, struggling with type 2 diabetes, struggling to breathe, I made a decision that I was not going to die. I was going to live. I didn't want to lose limbs. And I wanted to be there for my family. So yes, I was motivated. I had to keep going. I had to stay focused. I had to get off that old mountain of bad habits. I had to turn my life around, folks. And it took me developing a plan. So everything I've shared with you today is things that I learned along the way. There wasn't one thing that I did. I had to take all of those things into consideration over time. I started reading books. I started listening to podcasts. I started reading articles. I started consuming more and more information about my health and the health that I wanted to achieve. I started seeing myself healthy. I started seeing myself slimmer. I started seeing myself more athletic. And so my life started to change. So, folks, if you want to achieve results in your life, if you need a foundation, if you need something to help you to get started so that you can jumpstart your journey towards a better you, a healthier life, then start by downloading my free weight loss planner. You can either go straight to my website at beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. Fill out the information there. I promise I'm not going to bombard you with a whole bunch of other stuff. It's literally, I want to get this into your hands. My mom would always say, even till this day, she was like, son, always do good to people and it will come back to you. So I want to do good for you all, not because I'm expecting something from you all. I just really want to plant a seed, if you will, to help you along your journey. And that's why I'm offering you guys this for free. Hopefully you found value in this episode and in the information that I share. So again, go to my website at beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. There should be a link in the show notes for you to go directly to the website. And if for whatever reason you can't find the link on the website, go ahead and email me at hello@beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com and put in the subject line weight loss planner. So folks, I love you all. I want to see the best in you. I want you to see the best in yourself. So as always, it's important to stay focused, keep moving, never go back, leap forward, bounce back because you can, my friend. And above all else, trust God. You got this. I believe in you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with Oscar Camejo. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, this podcast is intended for motivational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional care by a physician or other healthcare professional or qualified fitness instructor. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you're looking for help on your journey, seek a qualified medical practitioner. It's important that you utilize someone who is a trained, licensed healthcare professional who can help you on your journey toward good health.